We are the Nerd Eternal Network.
Hello, and welcome to Icons, Blood and Stars, here on the Nerd Eternal Network. I'm your GM for the day, Jason, and with me as usual will be Taylor playing Muckboot.
Flawless as always.
Curtis playing Bloodthorn.
Hola.
Mike playing Eve, the Living Nebula.
Hey.
And Zach playing Silver Shooting Star.
Thank you for joining us.
Let's see, and last time we left off, I believe you had just passed through this huge monolithic Stargate sort of construction.
That sounds right.
It had a aesthetic to it very similar to the huge ship you had infiltrated previously, which according to the Living Nebula that resided in it and I guess you'd say captained it, had been created by a ancient, now gone civilization. So the Stargate connecting galaxies appears to be of similar origin. Just before you had passed through, you had been met by a woman named Star. Let's go put up the picture. There we go. It's the picture for y'all that I threw in the chat, but I've got it up for the any viewers. And she's part of a policing force within the smaller Magellanic Cloud. She'll sometimes be referred to as Star Hawk. Hawk is about like saying officer. You know, this organization is colloquially known as Hawks. In her case, she's actually got wings, but from conversation with her, that appears to have been a mutation on her part. Her species usually has 4 arms. But 2 of hers turned into wings, harkening back to kind of the aviary ancestors her species had. She was quite taken with y'all's keyboards since they were designed for people with only 2 hands. Hawks are all equipped with the sort of armor that you see on her, that kind of blue gold design. It allows them to manipulate kind of the raw power behind the universe that kind of runs the universe behind the scenes. Some might even call it primeval. I don't know. But exposure to the energy can occasionally cause mutations in the people that wield it, such as with Star. Her organization is run by a being she refers to as the Philosopher, who came to the Magellanic Cloud, tens of thousands of years ago. Set up shop on one world initially, and then as the civilizations around him became capable of space flight and began interacting with each other, he created the Hawk, trying to keep some amount of order. I think that was about all the background you really had on the Lesser Magellanic Cloud, other than the fact that they have been invaded by the same people you're being invaded by before and have managed to rebuff them.
Right. We were interested in how they did that.
It may have involved violence.
Unthinkable.
Oh,
I
thank
know.
goodness.
Muckboot was afraid it's going to be
at least
something he
something.
wouldn't get at.
Yeah, it's at least something the people that we can go back to know how to do.
Oh, we just all had to get along. Oh, well, our galaxy's doomed then.
Oh, well, dang. Real bad at that.
All right. And the Singularity League had, of course, been in contact with him because this Stargate thing is in Singularity League space. Okay. Mike, are you still with us?
I'm back, but how's my visual? I feel
It's
like
green and red lines.
Okay. I might need another. You might need to invite me back in or something.
Your camera's out of tune.
So let me. Yeah, let me. I guess we could continue with my camera off, or I can log out and you can send me another invite.
Either way you want to do it. Or you can just try turning the camera back on and we'll see if it, turning it off and back on, if that did anything.
It looks like the host has stopped
Oh, did I do
camera
that?
feed. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
now you're back.
great. Thank you.
All right. So y'all have just traveled through the other side. Multiple ships can travel through at one time. And the portal is not constantly open. It's like it has to be open from one side, going to the other side, and then, basically all the ships that are like lined up, ready to go, will pass through. Once they're out of the way, or once they're through, they'll close this side. When they're clearing the other side, they'll open the other side and send more. It's like it's a one lane highway, so they have to vary who they're sending which way. Collisions in the middle are very bad. So y'all go through, and there's several trading vessels that pass through with you. You come out on the other side, and there's several relatively close together space stations of varying sizes. Star explains to you that it's basically different nationalities have their own things set up. As well as things for trade and taxation. I'm blanking on the
What, duty-free stuff?
yeah, stuff like that.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm completely blanking on what it's called. But you get a steady stream of trade. Other than that, it doesn't look shockingly different from y'all's side. I mean, the make and model of the ships are different. Some of the architecture is different, You occasionally see another person in blue and gold armor patrolling around. Apparently, they don't really bother to use ships when they do that. But the captain of your ship Captain Finnis he interacts with whoever's on that side. Your translators have been updated with at least most of the major languages spoken over here. He identifies himself, what the mission is, where he's going. And y'all are headed to a spot that's just called Galaxy Central. There's very little commotion other than that. And then y'all take on off into deeper space. Much like the portal on your side, this one is located at the edge of the galaxy, closest to the Milky Way.
I'm assuming we just see weirder aliens.
It's really debatable if they're any weirder. Because there's, quite a variety where you're from. What you see are a lot of species you don't recognize.
Gotcha.
And I believe it was a three ship mission y'all were leading. Because Count TeknoAXE has his own ship. There's the ship all of you were on, and then I want to say there was one more. Made up of other diplomats and kind of assistants and legal aid sort of things.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Muckboot is nominally in charge of the mission. You know, Count TeknoAXE has experience in diplomatic matters, so, you know, Muckboot is expected to listen to him to some degree in the diplomatic matters. Though it's been stated very firmly to the Cap that Muckboot is in charge. Particularly if it comes to, like, the safety of the expedition and stuff like that. So like I said, y'all are heading towards Galaxy Central, which is close to, but not actually at the center of the Lesser Magellanic Cloud. But it's also kind of the hub of, I guess you'd say it's like the local UN, almost. You know, every major political power has one of their larger embassies at Galaxy Central. Rules for kind of like how there are certain rules that apply like over Earth's oceans. You know, now that the governments have gotten together and kind of hashed out what they can all agree on. You've got a similar setup here. So, you know, piracy is illegal pretty much everywhere. There's a few banned technologies, that sort of thing. Other than that, you're in for about a 2-week trip to get where you're going. Because while the Lesser Magellanic Cloud it's small in the scale of a galaxy, that's still a whole lot of space to cover. You are about halfway through the trip. It's been about a week. Y'all stopped here and there to top off fuel. Usually at stations run by the Hawks. Your ships being from somewhere else. Some prepping has had to be done to make sure they have the proper kind of fuel and everything calibrated right for your ships. You know, the technology isn't standardized over here, but they know what to expect from ships from this area. Yours is just a little different. You're about 3 days out from the last time that you topped off your supplies. When you have an alarm go off on the ship.
Finally, something some excitement. Kiri doesn't like downtime.
It's time when all she can do is sit around and think about the things she's done.
That's right.
Nobody wants that. Do. The things she's done and would do again. Alright, so this is the Morning Star, the ship you're on.
Yeah, buddy.
And I have tossed your tokens down just sort of here and there. I've got Bloodthorn and Muckboot in the, I believe that is an exercise room. Oops. Trying to see, that was I've got Ebe and Shooting Star just in a conference room slash actually that may not be the lounge, there may be a lounge somewhere. So anyway, so that's where y'all are at, and you can kind of prowl around the ship if you want to, but all the little stick people tokens you see are crew members.
I see the Hound.
Do what now?
I see the Hound.
Oh yeah, the Hound. I forgot y'all do have the Hound doctor with you. Yes. And most of you are probably sharing sleeping quarters. Mukboot, as the quote-unquote leader, might have his own. And Shooting Star, do you insist on keeping your armor with you? Like in your room? Or do you leave it on the Hound? Or what exactly do you do with your armor?
I'd say probably leave it on the Hound.
Okay. Anyway, like I said, you're about half the trip to Galactic Center. 2 days out from the last spaceport you stopped at. When an alarm goes off, little red lights are flashing on the walls, that sort of thing. Captain comes over the intercom, alerting the crew. There's a, intruders have been detected. He's got some of the engineers checking to make sure that it's not a false alarm.
Are those intruders on the ship or intruders approaching our ship?
He just said that the reports of intruders on the ship.
Oh, okay, on the ship. Gotcha.
I'm still here. I just paused my video for a second.
Okay.
Kira will curse and, like, we've been 3 days with nothing, and now we have people on the ship? How?
They jumped a step. That's cheating.
Alright, so the bridge is a floor up from you. Though, of course, you have, there are consoles on the wall where you can call anybody in the ship if you need to. And you've had time to become familiar with the basic functions of the ship.
Yeah, I'll put a call into the bridge immediately and see where these intruders are located.
Alright, the captain greets you. And then gets right into business. They appear to have, to the best that he can tell, just materialized in one of the hangar bays, not the one your ship's in, but the other one. It's on the lowest level of the ship. The docking bay had some cameras and stuff in it. But they've lost track. They have dispersed from that room. They've lost track of them. Something is beginning to interfere with the. Like, as he's talking to you, stuff begins to interfere with the systems. And I shouldn't have said cameras, motion sensors.
Understood. Then it would be in our best interest to go meet our untimely guests.
I concur.
Okay. As you're still, just before you disconnect, you hear somebody else in the bridge tell the captain, we've detected a ship off the port. They're at extreme range. And that's all you hear is the captain clicks off and turning to talk to whoever. Oh, we got somebody in the chat who just chose to follow.
Hello. Thank you for the follow.
Yes, we'd greatly appreciate it. I really have to get notifications set up so it tells me that right away. I was just clicking on the name and it said follower since 12 seconds ago.
Cool.
As you said. Go ahead.
I guess we should head towards the hangar where they appeared and hope we intercept them.
Okay.
Unless anyone else has.
Well, that seems like the best course of action.
Yep.
Get with the shooty.
Whoa. Maybe we
And
can talk about
stabby.
When has extreme violence not been the solution to these reoccurring problems we seem to be running into?
I refuse to speculate on that. Let's get going.
You know, when you're right, you're right.
All right, so y'all are spilling out of the hallway from the respective rooms y'all are in. Another alarm sounds, and a computerized voice goes over. Weapon discharge detected.
You.
That's just rude.
Oh, it's quite rude. So you hustle down to let's see here. I believe that's the stairs down. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how they. Let's see, it's to the upper deck. Okay, so yeah, you go down. So these stairs into this lower cargo dock, and that opens up here. But as you hit the cargo dock here, there are people headed up that stairs.
I'll bet they don't look like the crew of this ship.
No, the crew of this ship have uniforms.
Do they look like our friends from outside the galaxy?
Well, I'd tell you if it would let me. Alright, now it's letting me touch them. So you see one of these guys running up the stairs. With another one shortly behind him. Zach, what are you armed with since you left your armor in your ship?
Just that little holdout pistol I got back at the station.
Alright, we'll assume that y'all are all more or less together here. So for the moment, those two are representing the same guy. That's where the map overlaps. Just know he has a friend, at the bottom of the step behind him. Go ahead and give me initiative rolls right quick.
Yes, sir.
D6 plus. Plus 3, that's what I thought.
I am fully initiated.
Sacrificed a goat and everything.
What are we playing? RuneQuest? And then the one under him. All right. Turn for the rest of you. Alright, so what did Muckboot get?
16.
Okay. Silver Shooting Star?
A 6.
Ebe?
Hey, that's only teen off.
Got a 5.
And Bloodthorn.
I got a 7.
Okay. Alright. So as soon as the guy upstairs sees you, he starts to come up with this blaster rifle he's got. But unlike most of them you've seen, it's also got like a large tubular device attached up under it. But all of you basically go before him. Well, no, not quite all of you. I take that back. Muckboot, you're up.
I will go ahead and pop the tubular intruder like a balloon.
Okay. With a pin?
No. With what is mightier than the pin? The gun. Throw a 15 on it to kill.
Alright. He will, of course, try to dodge that.
Because by all interpretation, looking at that, it is a gun that he's holding, correct?
Yes, there's no mistaking that. And
Okay.
it's clearly a different model than you've seen before, but still, it's like the difference of looking at an M16 and a AK-47. There's very different, noticeable differences to it, but it's clearly the same sort of thing.
And I'm going to bet that if anyone in the group's going to recognize a gun, it's going to be Muckboot.
I do have a rank in guns.
The specialty?
Yes, the specialty. Alright, so that's a success enough to attempt the kill shot.
Yes.
15 to 8 should be massive.
Yeah.
And 8 on the attempt to kill.
Anything over 4 is a massive. Alright, he's got to roll his strength versus that.
He may be real strong. I don't know.
He's reasonably strong for like a normal person, yeah. He ain't like super strong. All right, you beat him by 2. So a moderate success.
So his head pops like a balloon.
Let's look it up and see. Outcomes. Or that'd probably be under damage.
Or he may just be down and bleeding out.
All right, failure, marginal, do nothing. Moderate success. All right. So that is a killing outcome. However, a moderate reduces the target stamina to 0 and renders the character unconscious. So he is injured and out, but he's not in danger of actually like bleeding out, like you said.
Okay.
You have to get at least a major for that part to actually start happening.
And Makut will politely ask them to surrender after that shot.
Well, that one's unconscious. You've of course got the one at the bottom of the stairs now. But that was Muckboot. Bloodthorn is next up.
I'm assuming they don't accept Muckboot's polite offer for them to surrender. So
well, it's not their turn yet, so you know.
And Kiru will, if I can reach him, I'm gonna jump the guy that was behind him, and say, you know, he asked politely.
Oh, sure.
We've done the shooty. I'm gonna do the stabby.
All right, so yeah, so Bloodthorn would run to the edge of the little ramp here, and run down the ramp, leap down the ramp at the guy, however you want to do it.
Yeah. I'll leap because that'll look more dramatic in the comic book.
You leap, energy sword flashes into existence in your hand. And this is prowess. Prowess.
Got a 13 and a 10.
Got a 10 and a 5. So both of those hit. All right, so you are.
My life suck.
It's an 11, and that is versus his willpower, I believe.
Yes.
Because yours is psychic based. All right, how much do you drain?
8.
Okay. Is that counting in the extra attack increase?
Oh, no, you're right. That's 9.
All right, he has got 7, so he goes down. Your blades are not inherently lethal, so he's just unconscious.
No, I didn't have enough points to do that.
He doesn't have enough energy to move around or really even stay conscious.
She's kind of like Wolverine in the 80s. She talks bad, but, you know, never actually...
I don't know. He wore out those Hellfire Club guys. Didn't kill them, though. You're right. He only maimed them a little bit. They came back, you know, a year or so later as Cyborg was very mad at him.
It's like that first Hulk movie where the helicopter crashes. I'm okay.
All right. From down here, Bloodthorn, you can hear a little bit of gunfire in the distance.
Direction.
Well, from where you're standing, definitely through these doors, since that's what opens up into the...
Okay.
But you have moved to a new area and attacked, so you're done. Next up is Silver Shooting Star.
I'm going to pick up that weapon the first guy dropped,
Okay.
and I'm gonna take a look at it. Are there any obvious, like, any signs of a biometric lock or
Give me a tech
special
roll.
requirements? Awesome.
Which, if you don't have tech, is just, you know, intelligence.
Yeah. And I have a roll for that. Boop.
Well, you got lucky because I rolled a 1 on the die, so the difficulty was only a 4. But you check it, and sure enough, where the fingers would grip on the thing, there do seem to be some kind of sensors. Now,
I'm gonna go ahead.
I was gonna say whether it's tied to his fingerprints or his DNA or exactly what, but you recognize it as a security feature of some sort. You're also pretty sure that's some kind of grenade launcher under the barrel.
You could cut off his hand and,
I don't think any of us have a proper bladed weapon, and that's a bit gruesome even for me. So, no.
I've got a knife made from my own blood. What? There was an entire alien invasion of my home planet for the people's blood. Because of how good it makes the metals. Of course I'm going to have a blade of it on me.
So you've got a knife made out of that weird Starforger metal.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
what
right.
is that? Is that who was that? Was that Muckboot or Shooting Star?
That was my boot.
Muckboot has because you know how season ago the alien was trying to collect human blood to make that special metal. Yeah, Muckboot may or may not be the reason they found out about humans.
Oh, I gotcha. Oh, right.
Because he got custom metal made by the greatest metal makers in the known universe at the time.
That's right.
Yeah, because most of the Starforgers were going about it in a peaceful fashion. Well, we'll just negotiate and we'll just buy it from them.
Yeah.
Your buddy Rudan, she just got impatient.
I'm pretty sure I can break this later once things calm down. There's no need to maim a guy. And I'm just
Kieran's very fascinated about the idea of a blade made out of blood metal.
Well, I heal up fast enough, I can probably get you one made out of me completely later on.
Boy, sounds like a date.
I've lost enough blood to make hundreds of me. A little bit more ain't gonna hurt nobody.
You have lived a horrifying life.
Says the space pirate.
I admit that I have lived a horrifying life.
My entire job encompasses fighting monsters that kill people on multiple different planets. I lose a lot of blood.
I was going to suggest that at some point in the future, we might consider just like a mini 3 or 4 session arc of like villains where we make the baddest of the bad. But maybe this is it.
Yeah, we forgot the villain arc when we were voting on season 3 story arcs.
Yeah,
Season 4. But let's
4. Oh, that's right. This is wait.
No, this is 3.
Yeah, but we do still. Well, season 4 is like way up for grabs. Like at a certain point. Yeah, we haven't even talked about season 4 yet.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kick the gun off the side and make a mental note of that. A grenade launcher would be really great on my suit, and just head down the stairs.
All right. We'll drop you down there next to Bloodthorn. And this guy down here had the same weapon, so you can kick it out of the way. You've gotten where you're recognizing some of the uniforms you see. These guys have got the typical soldier uniform on. I mean, whether it's technically Army or Navy, Marine, or what exactly, you're not sure. But these are the typical soldiers' uniforms you've been running into.
Of the Raiders.
Yes, of the Raiders, yes.
I'm very suspicious as to why we're just getting what seems to be unpowered soldiers here. There's got to be. I always feel like this has to be a distraction.
I'm concerned that they're here in the lesser Magellanic Nebula where they're not.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that too. Yeah. Yeah, I can't even know where we're at this mission.
Okay, but you move down there. Eve, what are you doing?
Well, so we both those. Given that both soldiers seem to be, are there other? I mean, there are. It was just those two, right?
That you've seen so far.
Yeah, I would like to wrap around on the level we currently are. Kind of wrap around the chamber to see if there's anyone else, or any other raiders. Also looking to see if maybe anything might have been implanted or installed.
Okay, well you're up here on the, I guess it's the mid deck technically. You know, up here where Muck Booty is.
Oh, okay.
So you check it out up there, or are you stepping down here to check this area?
I'm gonna stay on this level and just kind of wrap around, stretching wise, to see if there's anyone who might have. I mean, I guess it's not likely that there would be anyone else. Well, because there's this whole part of the section that that's currently off screen of the map, down on the opposite side of the chamber. It looks like there's some kind of entrance there. It's always possible that someone could have run there. So yeah, I'm basically just gonna look around to see who might have escaped our notice.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I have misread this map. In my defense, I set this little scenario up a month ago. Nope, I was wrong about where this little lower deck thing went. That is probably the cargo bay door out. This door here on the level y'all were at would be the one that would plug in back here.
Oh, okay.
I had misread that. I thought you had to go downstairs to get to this. So you'd be hearing gunfire from back this way.
Oh, I'll head for wherever I heard the gunfire then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Curtis, we'll say you heard that as you were starting down the stairs and it was coming from back here. So.
Right. Okay.
Zach, if that means you want to change where you moved your character to, that's fine too.
Yeah, sure.
Because I had, like I said, I completely misread the map there. These maps were designed because they're on posters where you could order the physical copies as well. So sometimes how he has to break it up to make it fit was a little different. Alright, so Eve is running back to these doors. Do you want to stop at the door and wait for everybody else or go through the door? Eve?
I'm sorry, I missed that question.
Oh. You said you were going towards where you heard the gunfire, so do you want to stop at the door right here and wait on everybody, or are you going to go right on through the door?
I'll go right on through, of course. Yes, definitely.
Alright.
I'll blunder my way through and... Oop, I'm not hearing. I think I might have lost... Jason, I think I lost your audio connection. Oh, wait, no, I think it's back.
Okay.
Nope, it's gone. Oh, no, it's back.
I was quiet for a second while I was fiddling on the map, if that's...
Hey,
I think it's just a big lag time, sorry.
You're better than me. Last time I played with the other group, I accidentally muted myself, and 10 minutes later, I finally figured out what I had done.
Oh no. Yeah, I think my mistake was I was watching you on Twitch, and there's a big lag time.
Ah, yeah. There is several. I play. I play Sea of Heroes with a streamer, and I have to get on the Discord with her to be able to talk to her because of the lag in the Twitch. All right, when you open that door, you see one of the crew laying there shot. Based on the uniform, it's one of the engineers.
I'll check for life.
She is badly injured and unconscious, but she is still alive.
All right, I'll if there's a nearby comm, I will. Or are we linked to the comms?
Yeah, your comm units would be rigged in to talk to the ship.
Yeah, if I can get a message through, I will call for a med bay response. That there's someone's gravely injured by a gunshot wound of some kind or a blaster wound.
Communications are breaking up and kind of staticky. But you get a confirmation. They have received. They have received your request and are inbound.
Cool.
All right, that is Eve. That gets us back up to Muckboot.
Let me keep moving back down to the bay.
Okay.
Following the gunshots.
All right, so you're heading over there where old Eve is. So we're Eve moved over here. You're standing in the doorway. You see the shot lady. Eve is, I assume, like putting pressure. Well, it's a blaster bolt, so it's probably caught her eyes. But you can see where Eve has been checking on her. You probably hear the tail end of Eve calling in the medical team.
Muckboot will look at Eve. Eve, and then I point to a door. That's the medical room.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll. Next chance, I guess.
We're right in front of the medical room. Oh. Please take her 15 feet to the medical equipment.
I guess that would explain why there's like a bed right there. But maybe you don't see anybody.
Oh crap! If they were able to hide their ship, I wonder if they can hide themselves.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, Bloodthorn.
I am going to head towards where the gunfire was.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not going to do the stabby if I don't see any opponents.
Well, you got to stab somebody. Muckboot's just standing,
I
bragging about how he heals good. I'm just saying.
Sorry, Muckboot. I got to stab somebody.
If you were somebody with a cursed sword,
I understand.
And then Silver Shooting Star, I assume you're going to run after everybody else?
Yeah.
All right.
Moving up there.
All right, so that's essentially everybody's movement getting there. Let me roll a couple of more dice. All right. Move these guys down here and put them on the order, but you won't see where they're out on the map until you actually run into them. So that is 6, 2, 6. All right, but where are you going from here?
Well, since I probably teleported in, I'll go run to the open bay where they said they first saw him.
Okay. That's over this way into this hallway.
All right.
And most of these little doors in the hallway are currently open. Because you can see they're segmented every so often. That is literally so they can seal off parts of the ship in case of...
breach.
Right. You know, when you get to one like this one here, that, or I should say this one here, that actually separates a specific room. You know, it's the doorway specifically into a room. It may be shut, you know, and whisk open when you approach. But it's actually pretty well designed because even the most of the little spots have little two-door things, so you could even do kind of an airlock if you had to. All right. How far down the hallway do you want to go?
To the door if possible.
Okay, go ahead and move to the door. Alright, like I said, this one right here is closed where the rest of those are open.
Yeah. I'll stop and see if I hear anything on the other side.
Alright, give me an awareness roll.
Not my highest, but I'll take an 11.
Alrighty. Alright, so you beat him by 8. You can hear someone trying to be quiet, but the kind of, not quite leather, but the material their uniforms are made, the enemy uniforms are made out of, creak sometimes, kind of like leather will. So you just hear a little bit of that, like somebody's back there probably trying to stand still, but, you know, they're shifting around just a little bit. You know, it's enough you are confident there is somebody on the other side of that door.
And it's not somebody that sounds like it's one of mine.
You wouldn't think so. The ship you're on, the crew just have, like, regular cloth uniforms. Where, like I said, these guys, the overcoats, at least that they wear, are very, you don't know if they're actually leather, but they're, seem like that kind of material, so there's a little bit of creak to them sometimes when they move.
Alright. Do I have enough left in my turn to crack a door and take a shot?
Yeah, you effectively move, like, you know, one range increment or so. You know, and the doors, you know, you just kind of swipe at them. That's kind of a free thing. So, yes, if you want to, go right ahead.
I'll pop the door.
Right.
In a room full of 6 people.
It's a 6x6 room, or a 2x3 room with 6 people standing there waiting.
They're all spaced exactly 5 feet apart. The mathematically optimal position.
All right, so blue, which I'm just calling that because I put a blue dot on him. So yeah, the door opens. You're closer to him to see his eyes through the little lenses on his mask. So you see his eyes get wide when the door suddenly springs open. He must not have heard you approach.
I'm that good.
But he's sitting there with one of those rifle things.
Man, how about it? I'm also standing here with one of them rifle things.
All right, take your shot.
I'll take a second 15.
I roll one of the dice.
I roll. It's a 15 and 8 again.
And his strength is a 5. That gets you a major success. So I believe he is down and dying.
Unfortunate for him.
How long he'll last, of course, depends on his strength. In this room, it's got, control panel for controlling the hangar docks and, probably some cranes and stuff worked in the ceiling. Right in front of this.
Anything in the hangar?
Right here in front of this big
just...
window. Doesn't look like anybody's in there now. There's no damage. It doesn't look like there's been a fight in this room specifically. You figure maybe this guy was here to make sure they could get back?
That's interesting.
It's a bit strange.
Okay, and then we're moving on to Bloodthorn.
I shall follow Muckboot.
Okay. You go ahead and move yourself down there next to him, then you're going to.
And I just had my token. There we go. Come on. No.
Alright, and then next up is the guy Muckboot took out. Oh, and then it's Red, wherever he's at. So Ebe and Shooting Star, you would hear coming through these doors here. You hear somebody shout, "You'll kill us all!" doing that, and whoever they're shouting at apparently responds with gunfire.
And
So you're hearing
that was the med bay.
right,
Oh boy.
at least from that direction. And then it is Silver Shooting Star's turn.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm gonna run up, open the door, and shoot at the first spell face elf looking guy I can see.
Alright. This little door here is open. And these two here are open. So you're looking through the med bay and straight back into engineering here.
Alright.
And Red is standing right here, looking like he's just shot over in this direction.
I'm gonna put a laser in him.
Alright.
And I am going to tap Repentant Space Pirate and give myself a bonus to hit.
Okay. Alright, that's a massive success. How much damage does that little holdout blaster do?
It does 6, and that is a close.
Alright, so
I
he
should-
takes 6. The damage alone has got him in bad shape. Alright. And for the killing outcome, I believe you roll the amount of damage that you did. Yeah, you test the full damage level against the target's strength. Alright, so that is 8 versus his strength. Alright, so that is a moderate. He is down and unconscious.
And do I have enough movement left to run all the way into engineering?
Yes.
Alright.
I'll scoot the there. And you see one of the engineers laying over there shot. He's very weakly kind of holding a hand up to the wound. Semi-conscious at best. You know, he's not laid out like the guy you just shot, but he's clearly kind of fading in and out. There is nobody else in the room, though you do see some sort of device attached to this important-looking piece of equipment here in the center of the room. It's kind of square. It looks like it's magnetically attached. And there's some sort of little screen and keypad.
Is there anything on the screen?
Yes. The translator in your comms does not translate writing. But you have seen this sort of text before. It's the invaders' script. You've got some kind of little message, and then 2 separate words down underneath it, but you can't really read any of it. But nothing on the screen changes while you're looking at it, so it's not like it's a countdown or anything like that going on.
Alright. I'm going to turn to the engineer who just shot and say, I'm going to get you help real soon. Do you know what he was trying to do?
I think it's a bomb. He forced me to show him where engineering was. Out in the hallway, one of them shot my partner.
We found them. They're going to be okay, I think.
He kind of nods his head. 2 more of them had devices like that.
2 more of these at least. All right.
Go stop him. Go stop him. I'll be all right. I'm just gonna take a nap.
Just take a deep breath, relax, keep the screen breathe, and does the guy just shot have any tools on him?
Oh, let's see. He's got there's a knife on his belt. There's a sort of what you assume is some kind of multi-tool. I'm trying to think of what else would be common. There's no like rations or canteen or anything like that. He's got a smaller sidearm, like a pistol on his hip. But he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have any really advanced tools. Like I said, the little multi-tool thing would be their equivalent of like a wrench, screwdriver, combo kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna pick the multi-tool off the guy because.
Okay. Yeah. Might be useful if you end up having to disarm one of his bombs.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't want to try and work a Phillips head, use a Phillips head on a little Canadian star screw or whatever they are.
I've got a Phillips head. I've got a flathead.
I hate those damn star screws.
They're awful.
But this little screw seems to have like an S shape on it. What's supposed to fit in there?
It's like, what the hell?
All right, so that is shooting star. Oops. Oop, I tried to skip past somebody. Where's the? All right, where's orange at? Okay, orange goes after Eve. All right, Eve, you're up. And shooting star has just yelled for you.
I stretch over there.
Okay.
And
You see him in there. You see a down soldier, and you see another shot member of the ship's crew.
all right.
He's still, semi awake, so you know he's alive.
Could Shooting Star just give me like a quick, I guess, summary of what just went down?
Real quick, guy I just shot the engineer. The guy I just shot planted this device on engineering, and we know there are at least 2 more of these on the ship.
Can I stretch up to the upper deck level? Is this like a 2-level room, or as opposed to 2 separate rooms? The engineering section?
Now, the engineering section is all on this mid deck here.
Yeah. But am I able to stretch up to like the?
Yeah, you can pretty well stretch anywhere on the ship, I think, with your level of elasticity. As long as all the doors required are open. So where is it you're trying to get to? Oh, we may have lost Mike.
I feel for him. I hate connection issues.
Yeah, super annoying. I've always been lucky. The internet connection around here has always been pretty good. I guess I'm in the county, but we're sandwiched between enough cities, enough little town, enough decent-sized towns that it's worked pretty well.
Yeah, where I finished high school, they probably don't even have internet yet. Probably have to use satellite connection.
Well, this whole county and the county next to us, I believe it's Joe Wheeler, the local power company, is working. Fiber internet is working. They're working towards getting fiber internet to the entire county. I'm really waiting for it to come in around here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're back.
Oh boy. Well, just wherever the section that is labeled engineering upper level is what I'd like to try to stretch up to.
Okay. Yeah, if it says upper level, it must. Oh yes. Okay, I see ladders here. So yes. So yeah, at the room you're in, if you shoot up this ladder here, you would come out right here, or the ones by the door. So yes, you can absolutely stretch up there.
Do I see anyone or any bombs or anything that's not supposed to be here?
All right, when you get up in this room, you see 2 engineers, both kind of over against the wall here. And you see an orange fella. Well, I mean, he's not orange, but the one I've got marked with the orange dot. And he is attaching another one of those devices. Or actually, he'd be over here. To a rather important looking piece of equipment.
The CAD.
If possible, I would like to stretch myself around, I guess, the limbs of that raider.
All right.
Hopefully enveloping the bomb as well, so they can't attach before they can attach it to affix it to the ship.
All right, give me a wrestling roll, which is prowess plus wrestling if you've got it.
Yeah, let me get my stats back up. There it is. I keep forgetting to upgrade my character with all our achievements. Unfortunately, I don't have wrestling yet. So I'll just try a prowess roll.
All right, 7 was the number to beat. You got a 9.
Phew.
So that is a moderate success, which I believe means you have him in a partial hold.
Sounds right.
Let's go check it, make sure. Is this in stone? Wrestling. Oh, that's where the bookmark was. I should have checked there first. I can never remember what it is I've got bookmarked. Alright. Yes, moderate success. You have a partial hold. The target can perform actions, but at +2 difficulty and can't move away from you. A moderate success can also upgrade an existing partial hold to a complete hold. So you got him in a partial. But he can still take, any sort of action he wants other than moving away from you.
Okay.
He just has a penalty on the roll. And then next round, if you try again and only get a moderate, it will still upgrade into a full hold since you already had him in a moderate.
Okay.
Get him.
And then, let's see, 4 is already taken out. And then last guy in the order is the guy you just wrestled. I'm going to go ahead and move your miniature down there next to him just so we remember that you're engaged with him. Even though technically there's a line stretching back to that ladder and down. He looks around at you, and he's still holding the device. He has not attached it to the equipment that he was trying to attach it to. But he turns around, he looks at you. You see his eyes under the goggles in his mask. They get kind of wide as he recognizes what you are. Then he yells, and you guys down here, or well, I guess it's just Zach down here at this point. But Zach, you can hear him, scream that he's remembered. And he reaches over and starts hitting buttons on on the pad of the device. Eve, you see that there was writing on the screen already. And then the writing changes to a smaller little passage. And, every second or two it changes to something else, and then to something else, and then to something else.
Mm-hmm. So like an accelerated countdown sort of thing.
But you don't know. It could be random words of the day for all you know.
It's an inspirational passage. I was beaten by a living nebula, but I'm good enough. I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
I'm sure that's what it's saying.
It's fine. We're fine.
And then we are back at the top of the order with Mutboot.
Alright, don't see anything in there. It's time to go run and see the hound.
Okay.
How far do I get towards that?
I'll let you get right about here.
Alright.
And as you run past, you see that lady that you thought Eve was going to help is still just laying there.
Never mind, I back up. I will get the lady and put her in the medical.
Alright, so you put her on the medical bed. As soon as you lay her down, the auto doc starts up and starts examining her. It's got little arms come down from the ceiling that can do some stuff. It's not something you'd want to have do full surgery on you, but it can, or I should say, any kind of delicate surgery. But it can patch a hole. It can
make sure the amount of liquid that is supposed to be in them is in them.
Right. And looking down this hallway here, you do see a dead soldier or a downed enemy soldier there. Okay, Bloodthorn.
I had to step out when we were getting all the details of these new intruders. How many are out and about that are unaccounted for? Do we know? Did we know?
Silver Shooting Star was told there were at least 3 of them of these devices.
Okay.
And 2 devices are accounted for. There's one next to Zach that is on a machine but doesn't seem to be doing anything. He didn't seem to have finished activating it. He just attached to the machine.
So we've got one somewhere.
Yeah, one is just sitting there unactivated. One appears to have been activated, and then one is unaccounted for completely.
Crap. And we don't have anybody to. We don't have time either to tell us where we might look or what the other target was.
I'm sure it was nothing important.
I'm sure it wasn't. So, what were the 2 targets that they picked already?
This important piece of machinery here in engineering, and then on the upper deck of engineering, this important piece of machinery. Nobody has, over the comms, has said what they are, or necessarily is even really aware of what they are.
They were both in engineering.
Yes.
But
So
it's
probably
reasonable-
tied to powering the ship and doing something with the engines.
Well, it's reasonable to assume that the third one is probably not in engineering, or we would already know where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what I know of the ship, aside from the bridge, Are there any other possible critical systems? I know Zach was concerned about the Hound, but I don't know if that would be their target or not.
If you really wanted to disable a ship, I mean, the bridge, yes, that would be a fine target as far as leaving people disorganized or whatever. But yeah, the targets, the engineering are probably what they're attempting to cripple the ship with.
I was originally concerned that these intruders were using stealth technology, but we haven't really seen evidence that the individuals are using stealth technology, have we?
Nobody has suddenly faded into visibility. It's just they've all been either behind doors or around corners when you come around and see them.
Well, I think... Damn, I hate to waste a turn, and my awareness is really not good. But I'm going to take a second to double check around, because engineering looks like it's a pretty... There are places someone could hide still. I'm going to take another sweep, fingers crossed. Trying to make sure no one else is in here that we're missing. Unless Eve needs help.
I always need help.
Do what?
I always need help.
Eve's awesome.
Alright, so where's Bloodthorn running to? Engineering?
Yes, I'm running to engineering.
Alright, so yeah, you can get into engineering here. And if you want to take a moment to look around, then you can make an awareness roll.
Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do an awareness roll. I'm going to try and use telepathy on Eve's prisoner, or semi-captive. That's just as likely to work as...
Okay. Alright, so you run engineering, and up one of those ladders, at least enough to poke your head into the room Eve's in.
Yeah.
Decent exposure.
And so that's going to be 6 plus my telepathy roll. It's not great, but maybe I can... And you know, I'll ask the guy, of course, you know, where's the third device? Well, hey, it's at least I got as good as I can.
All right, and that's versus his willpower if he's not willing, I believe.
Right.
All right. All right, so that's a 7 versus your 9, so you got a moderate success on him. And that was telepathy.
I don't know if that tells us what we need to know or not, but take a shot.
All right. Reading a particularly deep, forgotten, or long ago memory might require higher degree of success. Okay, this isn't it. That's why moderate is sufficient. That
was actually good for something.
So they were supposed to disable the engines, disable the ship's power source, and disable basically any other method of travel.
Oh, well, crap. Taylor was right all along.
Now, he does not know where the third person went because he was here in engineering. He knew they were breaking off to check. Let's see. Well, the last place he remember them saying was they were breaking off to check the other docking bay.
Yeah.
You know, they appeared in one docking bay.
And I'll let everybody know that the third one's probably after the Hound.
In fact, you would have gotten a mental image of the person that was giving the order. Oh, there he is. So I'll drop his picture in the chat where you can see it. And then I shall throw it up in the...
He's
briefly.
big, he's bad, he's green.
He's kind of a sea green, greenish blue skin tone. Where most of them have got, you know, the green coats. He's in a red coat and, you know, gold highlights. Everything's much fancier.
Yeah, red coats. Well, we know red coats are commanding status.
So yeah, you get a mental image of that guy giving them the basic orders of disabling the ship, making sure no one can escape.
I didn't by chance catch the guy's name, did I?
Satrap Sk Aar.
That's a catchy name. I don't see many satraps. You don't see enough satraps.
No, you don't.
Guess who's been listening to a Persian history podcast?
Mm-hmm. Is that one or two R in Scars?
It is SK apostrophe space capital A R R.
Oh, tricky.
From the pronunciation, kind of this guy thinks of it. There's no hesitation in there like there usually would with an apostrophe. It's just Scar. So.
Gotcha.
And there's a whole lot of reverence in this guy's Bloodthorn. There's a whole lot of reverence in this guy's mind for the person that gave the order. So yes, the Hound would be something they'd want to disable. Of course, the escape pods might be something they want to disable too, though they're further up towards the bridge of the ship. You know, and you didn't pass anybody coming, so you're not too concerned about that. Right. All right, so that is Bloodthorn's turn. Then we drop all the way down to Eve, it looks like.
All the way down to Eve.
I have to pass through quite a few knocked out guys.
Right. So, just checking the map to see where the escape pods are. Oh, I see a launch bay. Those aren't the escape pods, are they? Or is that more like photon torpedoes or something?
Yes, launch bay, that is a weaponry system.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so there's the hangar where the Hound is currently located.
Right.
And oh, I see escape pods. Oh, of course they're like exactly as far away as possible from the hangar. No, actually, well, wait.
They're up close to where you started. But they were actually a level above where you started.
Okay.
Close to the bridge.
If I remember right, Jason did say they were looking for the other hangar, not necessarily escape pods.
Yeah, that was the last thing the Eve's opponent was thinking. You know, the last he saw of the other guy with the bomb was that guy was going to go check out the hangar bay to see if it was empty or not. And to get to the escape pods, they'd have to have walked past y'all. You know, so you don't think anybody has gotten further forward in the ship. So anyway, Eve, you were wrestling with this guy. He has, from all appearances, activated his device, whatever it might be. Oh, but I think Mike is frozen.
Eve, come back.
I might need to switch to my phone and head upstairs. We still have an incapacitated orange yet, is that correct?
All right. Beg pardon?
We still have an incapacitated the orange reader, is that correct?
That is correct. He is still wrestling around with you.
All right. Well, let me see if I can just solidify that hold.
Oh, okay. Give me another wrestling check then. Ooh. All right, so that was a 10 to your 7. All right, so you do not make the hold any better. Yeah. I don't think he necessarily breaks out of it. You just weren't able to increase your hold, so it's still a partial.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Then it drops down to his turn. At this point, he's going to try to escape.
Good luck, buddy. You ain't getting far.
All right. Proposing, dodging, evading. Oh no, this would be back in actions. Escaping. And it is his prowess or strength versus the attacker's strength.
Oh, strength. Okay.
Yeah. It's versus your strength to escape, for him to escape. And he can use his prowess or his strength. I think his prowess is the highest. He got a 5, you got a 10, so he definitely did not escape. Okay, but a massive failure doesn't do anything special. Alright. So y'all are still wrestling. In the wrestling, he does drop the device. Once he's activated it, he just kind of drops to the side.
Oh.
And then we are at Muckboot.
Now I rush to the door for the hound.
All right.
Hey there, big girl.
Oh, I think the little one's awake.
Exactly what Muckboot says when he sees the hound.
Sorry. Somebody just came down the hall all bleary-eyed. She had a good little nap. 2.5 whole hours.
That's a good nap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm jealous.
I am too.
All right.
Up you go.
Yeah, that's probably about as far as Muckboot gets. Again, these little doors in the hallway are open, but this one into the actual control room is shut. Bloodthorn.
Okay. And I will communicate this with Eve telepathically. I'll just let him know that I'm gonna try and take out this guy that he's holding, and then if Eve has some way to eject the bomb.
I could just wrap myself around it.
we might hurt yourself.
Eh.
But I will do my stabby.
All right.
I think I may change that role description to stabby.
No, I like Psychic Blade of Attitude. That's a poetic ring to it.
All right. So this is his prowess. -2 for the partial hold. An 8 on the first one, a 4 on the second one. So you get a massive success on both of them.
Mouse to the right spot.
So that does how much damage?
Oh, 9. But I have to.
Oh, that's right. He's got to roll the versus his strength thing. I forgot about that. See, that is not something that's going to have a penalty on it. He's rolling one of the dice, so it doesn't really matter. My rolls from last night continue. I rolled 3 or 4 ones in a row running icons for a in-person group last night.
We were playing.
No, it was
Tom's.
3 ones and a 2 in
God.
4 consecutive rolls is what it was.
We were playing Tom's game, and he's actually sober enough that we finally got out of the docking bay this time.
Oh, good.
After 3 or 4 game sessions, but we kept getting critical failures. I mean, boom, 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 right in a row. I don't know how we survived.
As bad as my dice are right here, at the end of last night, the beginning of the last night's game, I thought I was going to have a TPK on my hands. I mean, it's icons. They'd have been knocked out, not dead. But I did knock one guy out. I had one of them mind controlled. And then it was their dice were cold, my dice were hot. There's a little middle phase where both of us were rolling mediocre. And then their dice got hot and mine got cold to wrap up the session.
That actually sounds kind of an ideal distribution.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, when I game master, my dice always let down my favorite villains, but it's okay. It lets the players have their fun, just beating the crap out of the bad guys.
Oh yeah, I forgot the very first round. I shrank one of the players down to an inch. Reduced his strength down to 0. It's like, he can't do much anything. Forgot about his stun power.
Oh.
So he's still taking his hard rubber balls and flicking them at people to stun them. He got one guy in the eye, and then one guy was far enough away from him that the ball, once it got a certain distance from him, went back to its normal size. Hit the guy.
Did you make him talk in a squeaky voice? I probably would have.
I always described his speech as being in a squeaky voice, and complained that I should have brought a helium balloon.
Isn't helium kind of a rarity these days?
I think there is some kind of quasi shortage of it, at least.
Would have been worth it though.
So anyway, you stab him. He kind of screams and he goes limp in Eve's arms, or pseudopods, or whatever however you want to call it. So he is unconscious. His little device just sitting there.
That'll leave Ebe free to take care of the device without worrying about dude.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna do his best impersonation of Matt Eater Lad.
Exactly. This gives me an appetite.
Or maybe Kirby would be a better.
Right.
Alright, so that was Bloodthorn. I think that is all the... But it's all the soldiery types. Oh, except for the one that's down here that I have not actually rolled an initiative for. Let me roll an initiative for him. They got an 8. I won't put him exactly where he is until the door opens. And then we have got Muck Boots up. Wait, somewhere along the line I have skipped Silver Shooting Star.
Yeah,
You have.
And Ebe, I think. Doesn't he go last?
Where was
Yes.
I at? Bloodthorn. Yep. I had a scroll of unconscious soldiers. I just zipped past them. All right, let me back it up then. So yeah, Bloodthorn, then Silver Shooting Star. My apologies.
No, you're fine. And it is my turn, correct?
Correct.
I will very quickly try to disable the device that was attached to this little doohickey.
All right, give me a tech roll.
Oh,
All right. Going to the difficulty was going to be 3. I'm going to give it a +2 because it's unfamiliar tech. We'll knock that down just to 1 though because you do have the soldiers multi-2. Okay. With just a little bit of fiddling, you figure out how to detach it from the machine. It just appears to be some kind of magnetic device that clings to it. It's like a magnetic clamp sort of thing attached to the casing of the bomb, not like wired into the explosive itself. So it's not like booby trap where if you moved it, it would blow up. And again, you've got what you assume is the ready screen up. It's not the screen. Nothing on the screen is changing. But you detach it, and with a little more fiddling, you turn the screen off. So the thing is effectively shut down. So that is 1 bomb accounted for. Eve.
All right, so I would like to kind of basically take the device that has just been dropped and kind of if it's possible, use my stretching power to kind of surround myself around it, and then I guess head for the the nearest escape pod. I guess the nearest escape hatch.
All right.
Hope I don't blow up somewhere inconvenient.
All right. Well, you've got a hangar bay over here that, of course, has a door to the outside.
It's probably going to be the closest step.
Yeah, because the escape pods, you have to go back up to the level you started on, and then up to the level above that. I'm trying to see if there's any little error locks along the way. I mean, there's some right there in amongst the escape pods, so that doesn't do you any good.
Yeah, and if I have to use my
the only thing closer than the empty
power stunt.
Well, you can do it by stretching or running, either one. It doesn't really matter. The only spots closer to you than that empty docking bay are the launch bays for the ship's torpedoes.
Oh, that might be more fun. That sounds much more fun. And if it's closer, then
launch yourself at that hiding ship.
that would be. Oh, that would be.
Well, it's at extreme range, so it might just move out of the way.
Yeah.
We have a little glob of I don't know, it's some kind of snotty substance coming at us.
Well, I do like the idea of launching myself out of a torpedo bay, and hopefully I can get myself out of there before the thing blows. So yeah, if I need to stunt my stretching power to simulate swing to make my movement all the faster, I can do that. But otherwise, yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to use your stretching to increase your movement speed, go ahead and spend a tap. Which quality are you tapping?
Oh, I'm gonna guess living nebula probably sounds like the best.
Yeah.
Or no, full of hot air, because that's basically that's basically what accounts for my. Well, I guess either one of them, really, right? We'll do living nebula.
Okay.
And let me take my determination down. We always start with our starting value at the beginning of every.
Correct.
Okay, good. now I am officially out.
All right, but that swinging, super speed, it really doesn't matter which movement power. You still with us?
Yeah, sorry, I was just okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So yeah, you can reach the stunning like that. You can reach the launch bay without any trouble.
Fire away. Fire at will.
You throw it in there. It launches the torpedoes, kind of with a rail gun sort of set up to just kind of fling them out there, and then they have their own propulsion. So yeah, the casing of the bomb is metal, so it launches out the tube without any trouble.
Oh yeah, I'll be careful on that too.
And just a little while after you get it out there, it will explode, but
Fancy.
at enough distance that it's not going to do any damage to the ship.
I'm not silenced, am I? Oh, sorry. We just had a visit. One of the upstairs cats just came downstairs, so it's kind of a special occasion.
Ooh.
And our cats aren't hissing her away, so yeah. Sorry. We have our own diplomatic mission going on here. Okay,
All right. So that was Eve.
Cat politics.
Exactly. Bye bye, Pansy. Good job, cats. No hissing. No hissing at Aunt Pants.
Diplomacy was successful.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we're back up to McBoot.
Yes.
Now I run to the door of my ship.
All right.
Do
So,
I
yeah.
make it all the way to the room?
Oh yeah, you can get into the bay. As you run into this room, through the window, you see this guy. I ain't gonna go there. He is walking along the side of the Hound. Headed back towards you, basically. He sees you run in. He brings his gun up to the ready. You do not see a device in his hand.
Uh-oh.
So take that as what you will.
Great. Can I shoot to knock him unconscious?
It's not really how bullets work. But your gun can be reconfigured as you like, so go ahead. At least I'm pretty sure you have the ability to reconfigure your gun.
In between a blast and a bullet mode, yes.
Okay. Yeah, blasting just knocks people out, so.
I'll go ahead and blast him.
Alright.
That is my third roll for shooting. That is now a 15.
I would make fun of the dice roller in Roll20, but I've seen real dice do that recently. So, all right. So his coordination. I'm going to give him a slight bonus as you're firing through that thick glass. Not that it really helped him. He got a 9 versus your 15.
He gets shoved in a direction.
Yep.
And takes 6 damage.
Alright, so the 6 damage is the important part, probably. Give me a d6 roll plus the full damage of your gun. Versus his strength.
He may just withstand it.
He does.
He withstands.
I mean, he goes staggering back half a step as he takes the hit, but he maintains his footing. Then he goes directly after you, and he returns fire. Now, does he shoot you or does he lob a grenade at you? That's the important thing. Up. Yeah, so he lobs a grenade at you. So that's just, it's just a weapon on it with a burst. So it's still a coordination roll for you to get out of the way.
Oh, thank goodness, something I can accomplish. 15.
Sweet
The
goodness.
dice is, it's a different dice roll. I rolled a 5 instead of a 4.
Alright, so this is his coordination of 3. Plus his skill with guns, so 4. Yeah, he can't possibly get it. And I rolled a 1 anyway. So yeah, you hear the kind of thump. The grenade comes through the window you just shot out, and while it's arcing down next to you, you basically turn around and smash it almost like a, well, with your hand, but almost like somebody playing a racquetball. You just kind of whap and knock it further down the hallway here, where it goes off, but far enough away that it doesn't do any major damage. I mean, they're gonna have to replace some panels in the hallway, but. You see his gun, you know, he kind of lowers his gun slightly when he sees what you, in shock, as he sees what you did. And then it's Bloodthorn.
I am gonna run to the other hangar where the hound is.
Alright, let's see. So you drop down. You drop down the ladder back into this section of engineering. So you can get right around about here.
Okay.
And you see where there's clearly been a grenade has recently gone off in that hallway. And then we drop down to Silver Shooting Star. If you're talking, Zach, you're muted.
I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
I'm gonna book it to the hangar where the hound is.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Oh. Let me move Thorn over there, too. So, yeah, you and Thorn are both kind of in this overall stretch of hallway. And you see Muckboot standing there. He doesn't appear to be injured or anything. And where you're at, Silver is sitting here in the doorway. You probably can see this guy through the window. So if you'd like to take a shot, you can.
Yes, I would. Sorry, I was dealing with something over here.
No problem.
And bang bang. Oh shit.
You beat him by 6. I think he only had 1 stamina left. So he goes down.
8.
Boom.
Okay. While technically your characters wouldn't know it yet, you're effectively out of combat now. You've downed the last guy. Well, actually, I take that back. Bloodthorn was in one of the guys' heads, so I guess you would know that everybody's accounted for at this point. So what are y'all doing now?
Now we gotta find where he put that bomb.
Oh, we
Gotta
haven't
filter
accounted.
filter out in the hallway.
There's a bomb in my ship.
I'll be right back. Izzy demands a drink.
Well, tell her she's got an infinite amount of saliva if she just tries hard enough.
I don't know, one of Carl's dogs last night would slob all over you, then leave the room and you'd hear him just lapping up all of his water, and then he'd come back and slob all over you again.
They had more slobber to.
Yep. Oh, I had to reload. You don't really want to say anything about it because, you know, it's a mastiff and it's the size of a small horse. And good-natured, so you don't want to change that about it. All right, Muckboot. Well, really, any of you. You saw the guy walking back from the tail end of your ship, so what do you want to do?
Going to the tail end of my ship.
We're gonna search.
It's not hard to find. He has attached the bomb to the underside of one of the Hound's engines.
I'm back, and if Muckboot will permit me, I'll slide right up under there and start trying to disable it.
And you can tell it has been activated, you know. You can't read the countdown, but it's changing.
It's been activated, so I would recommend y'all get out of here just in case I cut the wrong wire.
Could he form some kind of like bomb shield? Just to protect the rest of the ship from the potential detonation.
Using your stretching, you could definitely get in here and like envelop, you know, say this back corner of the. Oops. Hang on, let me grab the pen.
Yeah, I think that's what Eve would like to do.
You know, you grab onto the wall here and you stretch yourself kind of across. And, you know, so that if it explodes, it kind of blows out these outside walls instead of moving further into the ship.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, the outside walls of the ship are stouter than Eve, in which case Eve would give first.
Oh, sure. And it's Silver Shooting Star who's trying to disarm?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So give me a tech roll. No penalties this time because you've disarmed one of these things before.
Nice.
Of course, I say that and you disconnected one. Oh, wait, whatever. Nope. That is a major success. So just like before, you pop the magnet part off without any trouble. And there's just the slightest little hang up. You try to do the whole shutdown thing. But that gets you an error message because it's already counting down. But you figure it out fairly quickly. You stop the countdown and then shut the thing down.
I slide out from under the ship and give a big thumbs up.
And then toss Muckboot.
Turn the thumbs up.
Now I'm picturing you throwing the bomb at Muckboot. Here, souvenir.
I shoot it, we all die, and go to the next story.
Turns out this was only an 8-part miniseries. So yeah, y'all get back to the, well, I'm going to assume that you get the guy shot in engineering into the med bay. The auto dock is done with the lady. You put her in one of the recovery beds. It starts working on this guy. you find, well, they don't find, some of the communication systems are still experiencing some interference. You can more or less communicate within the ship without too much trouble. But like they couldn't send out a distress call to anywhere. They're not having much luck getting the other two ships, in the convoy. But as you're on the bridge talking to the captain, out one of the side windows you can see one of the other ships explode.
Oh.
It was the third ship that was carrying a bunch of the aids and stuff. The nameless, faceless pencil pushers.
Not tragically the Count.
No.
Right.
No, like I said, it's the nameless, faceless guys. May their various gods rest their various souls. Shortly after that, there are 3 small explosions outside the Count ship. Probably not unlike the one small explosion that would have happened outside of your ship.
Right.
Essentially, we deactivated the bombs. They threw them out the airlock.
Or something. Muckboot is familiar enough with the Count to know he can teleport, so it might have been him popping outside with them and, dropping them off.
Which isn't an unreasonable tactic.
No, not at all.
If you hit someone with a pack of C4 in the depths of space, that's just deeply unfortunate.
When this happens, that ship that's at extreme range turns around and jets off. And when I say extreme range, it was far enough off that the Morningstar sensors could pick it up but could not positively identify, the model of it or anything. But as it's doing that interference seems to fade out.
Oh. They were jamming our communications.
You get a call from the Count ship, which I'm pretty sure at some point that I had given his ship a name, but I don't remember what it was now. So we'll just call it the Count ship. They're checking on your status. Both ships move over to the debris and do some quick scans just to make sure there's no survivors, even though the likelihood of it was very, very slim.
I don't guess there's a chance we can pursue the Scar ship.
You could certainly try. Maybe you'd even catch up with it. If you suggest that, the Count doesn't recommend it. Simply because they could be luring you into a trap. They could be a larger fleet. That might have been like a scout ship, or something stealth equipped, and it might just lead you back to a main fleet waiting to ambush you.
Plus, technically, we are still on a diplomatic mission.
Right. During this, Star was over on the Count ship. She's been jumping back and forth from ships. She's the liaison. She kind of has to spend time with everybody. So she and the Count had taken out most of the guys on the other side. And sure enough, the Count was using his teleportation to... when they'd find the bombs, he didn't really bother disarming it. He just grabbed them, chunked them out into space. They suffered a few casualties from their regular crew, though. Where your guys... you had a couple of injuries, but nobody actually died.
Good.
Where all hands were lost on the third ship.
The pencil pushers never had a chance.
Could hit the gym instead of hitting the books.
Nerds. But yeah, I mean, the closest thing that I had to soldiers on that ship were, you know, the ship would have had a couple of security officers, though.
You know, the guys that exist to be chewed up by comic book supervillains.
Yep. It was a ship full of civilians in 2 red shirts. Star is quite agitated about the attack. You know, and she's sending out communications as soon as the interference lets up. Well, interference lets up. She shows back up on y'all's ship with the count to check on y'all. And then she starts sending out communications. If you tell her about the Satrap, she is familiar with that name. He is specifically the Satrap of the military.
Interesting.
Where's my notes? The Magellanic Hegemony of Arcjin, which is like the full government name of the government of the invaders, or at least how it would translate. They don't really call their little mini galaxy the Magellanic Cloud, but that's essentially their name, what their name before would be. And you know, the Hegemony of Arcjin, and I believe y'all had run across the name Arcjin before. That is the name of their like deity king. So yeah, he is the head of the army, which is just what they, you know, military army. It all translates the same. You know, all their military forces are in one united organization, not broken down into branches. The Satrap is, of course, one of the branded, which is what Arcjin calls his empower, the troops that the individuals that he empowers, like the squad that, you know, tried to break into the Hunter's Lodge. Basically, any of these aliens you've run into with powers. The Satrap is the most powerful of his people. You saying something?
So that implies to me like they don't naturally have, it's like they're not mutants, or this is something gifted to them because of that.
Yeah, Star tells you that is their understanding. Not that individuals of these species might not develop powers like any individual of any species. The impression you've gotten out in, well, you're from out in space, so I guess the impression Muckboot would have gotten, it would be that humans tend to spout these mutations and powers and so forth a bit more often. And a lot of species may have 1 or 2 power sets that pop up in their species a lot. But yeah, the wide variety that you're seeing, Earth is rare in how much variety it's got in powers. And these guys, the variety is because of the bring-ins.
Makes sense.
The rest of the trip, the next 2 weeks pass relatively uneventfully. The crewmen on your ship recover, make full recoveries. You're of course very popular with the crew after this. They do have a little what would you call it? A little service to honor the ones that were lost on the Count ship, and of course the ship that was lost. You know, that's a sober event. But the next base the next one of the Hawks base that you stop at, they have a couple of their military ships there who escort you the rest of the way. They all seem a little angry that you were attacking their territory, a little embarrassed that it happened. You know, they did not think you were going to need like a full military escort. Since you're not even particularly close to the side of their galaxy that would be closest to the Hegemon. So the rest of the trip passes relatively uneventfully. When you arrive at Galactic Center, it is a bustling planetary system. Numerous space stations. Almost all the moons are inhabited or have facilities on them. When you get to the main planet, there's 3 or 4 space elevators reaching up into orbit. There's about 6 major space stations floating around it. There's traffic everywhere. There's only 1 or 2 spots that any of you would have seen in your galaxy that kind of rival this thing in size. You know, if this was the ancient world, you know, imagine you'd been to Athens or, you know, one of your nice big cities, and then you rolled into like medieval Constantinople or just, you know, one of those just huge cities. And when there's lots of traffic, everything seems to work fairly smoothly. But by sheer volume, this kind of dwarfs most other star systems you've seen. But you are escorted down to the planet itself. And you see, I mean, it's hundreds, if not thousands, of different species. Just to eyeball it, you can't pick out who the native species might be here, if any of them are native to this planet. There doesn't seem to be a majority of anybody. It's just, you know, just a hugely varied place. Star tells you you'll be assigned escorts. Your translator should be able to handle most any language you'll run across. You know, she tells you if you go to a restaurant, food vendors, they should all have little scanning equipment that you can put your hands on that will tell you what's safe for you to eat. Because there's a lot of variety of stuff.
And not all good for humans.
Right. Let's face it, you don't want to eat what koala people would eat. Eucalyptus leaves, very toxic. You know, Muckboot might like spicy foods, but that's a neurotoxin to most species. Really, it's a neurotoxin to us, but we like it for some reason. But yeah, you're taken down, you're settled in, very nice quarters. I mean, you know, you're in a not a hotel exactly, but like a diplomatic quarters. Muckboot, it might be a little fancier than anything you're used to. You know, the hunting lodge had nice quarters, but they didn't go overboard on the fancy. Bloodthorn also doesn't strike me as somebody that'd be used to really fancy.
Oh, but the space pirate knows all about ritzy stuff.
Hey, he's helped hijack a cruise ship before. He's lived the good life for a little while.
Careful, baby girl.
Not used to fancy, but I'll enjoy it.
Even the Count makes a comment about, oh, they know how to treat their diplomats. Or they know how to treat a being of my status. Looks over the rest of you. You should enjoy this while you can.
When he's out of earshot, I'm just gonna turn to Muckboot and say, "How has everyone else in the lodge not just smothered him in his sleep?"
He's still in range to hear you.
And you turn around and he's just staring daggers at you from way down the hallway.
I don't care.
His suit gives him a very long range of perception.
I wave.
We know this because of how many people have said that kind of sentence to him. The fact that not all of them are dead is actually surprising to me.
Now the Count's skin is a kind of a purplish color, but you can see it kind of darken as he presumably flushes with anger at what you've said.
I mean, at some point, someone's gonna try and do it and succeed. You know, more power to him. I'll buy him a drink.
I assure you, even I couldn't kill that Count very easily. I think my odds are about, I don't know, 2 to 8.
Oops.
That just makes it more fun.
The Count turns around and marches away, angrily fiddling with his mustache. He does have kind of the classic handlebar mustache.
I gave him better odds than I give most living things to kill me.
So, you know, you're allowed to, you know, you get settled, you get comfortable. Star tells you later tonight you'll be dining with the Philosopher, which is, it's not considered an official, it's a meet and greet. It's not really the official, you know, you'll talk some business, but it's not the official meeting exactly. The Philosopher likes to, well, he likes to meet people in a slightly more relaxed setting, get a feel for people, let people get a feel for him. You know, while the Hawks are they're meant to be more of a police force. They can be used as a military force when necessary. They certainly were when the Hegemon invaded. You know, but the Philosopher prefers, you know, peaceful resolution to issues. So, you know, diplomacy is always given the first shot. Now what she doesn't do is give you any indication of what you should wear. So how are y'all planning to present yourselves?
Oof. Is there a search engine where we can just pull up what is and is not appropriate attire for visiting diplomats? Or even like a video archive?
There are little computer stations in your rooms.
I'll double check to make sure my traditional hunter's attire is not offensive in some way.
Yeah, a quick check. Apparently, the Philosopher is not. He is not easy to offend on accident. From what you read, people being intentionally disrespectful, that you know, that'll get him riled up. But you have so many different cultures that show up that, you know, what's appropriate in one culture may be, you know, completely unacceptable in another. So in short, yes, your hunting attire is fine.
I think Bloodthorn will go for the Jessica Rabbit outfit, you know. Evening gown with the gloves. She'll, you know, try to look pretty.
Oops. There we go. Drop the ship map. Okay, so she gussies up. And there are tailors available. They're not completely free, but you've got kind of an allowance given for the mission. Eve, I assume, just goes like Eve always goes.
That's correct.
What about you, Silver Shooting Star?
Given this information, I think I'm just gonna get myself, cleaned up, my suit, my wardrobe pressed and cleaned, and I'm also going to request a small badge that has the emblem of my old pirate crew emblazoned on it, and just wear that on my shoulder.
Okay. Now I forget, did your pirate crew desert you, or were you the only survivor of an incident?
I was the sole survivor.
Okay. So you still have fond memories of these people. Okay, that's the important thing.
We
All
weren't
right.
good people, but we had good time.
But yes, they can manufacture something like that very quickly. So yeah, all of you show up. The Count and some of his people meet you, and the Count, they're all done up to the nines. Think 18th century nobility sort of outfits. The Count has a very kind of militaristic look to it, but it's very, very fancy. He gives the rest of you a look over. A look over. I mean, Ebe, he doesn't have any reaction. It's Ebe. It's a living nebula. Bloodthorn and Silver Shooting Star. Okay, he doesn't seem. He's not giving you an attaboy or anything, but he doesn't look like you're embarrassing him. He looks like Muckboot in his usual hat and camouflage coat or whatever, and just sighs and gives a slight roll of his eyes. Well, at least he's not being pretentious.
I represent my task. You know this is how I treat things.
Indeed. At that point, you're welcomed in, and it's almost an old school banquet hall. It's a very large room, high vaulted ceilings. It's quite fancy. It's got huge windows that look like they just open up, into the outside. Though the temperatures feels very well controlled, so there's clearly something going on. But there is lots of fresh air being let in, and everything's brightly lit. Lots of white. Like the table is white. The chairs tend to be white. Lots of lighting, kind of. Rather than having lights necessarily just hanging above, it's like the supports along the sides. There's lights running along them. Everything's got kind of a clean, almost sterile feel to it. Except for those big open windows that lets a lot of natural light in too, so it takes kind of the harsh edge off of it. As you're welcome in, there are other diplomats. It's quite a few people are in here. You're set up close to the front of the table, where the Philosopher is sitting. He's at the head of the table. He is taller than any of you even sitting. Probably at least 12 or 13 feet tall if he stood up. Proportion more or less human. Other than the unnatural color of his eyes, he could almost pass for human. On Earth, he'd have one of those kind of indistinguishable complexions where you're not sure. You wouldn't be able to place for sure like where he was from. His hair is white. He's got kind of a full beard. And he's one of those people that he's got white hair, but it doesn't make him look old particularly. There's no wrinkles or anything to his skin. As you enter, he gestures to the seats. Please, welcome to my home. I do apologize for the trouble you had arriving here. We had not realized the Hegemon had managed to get any forces past the border. As he does that, you hear a cough from across the table. And you see... what was that species name? You see someone clearly from the Hegemon. Almost a little group of them. And they are in. Well, the guy that does the coughing, he's in a red coat. It is not Bloodthorn. It is not the satrap that you saw in the guy's mind.
Gotcha.
This is an older individual with a less greenish, more bluish skin tone. But he's sort of point of order, philosopher. I do not believe there has been any proof of who the attacker was. And I certainly have no knowledge of any attack ordered by my people, who would surely not violate, diplomatic agreements that we have.
And, I'll just say, but the attack was ordered by, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to say the first part right, Scar.
The ambassador looks at you. And you saw this Scar yourself?
I can tell you exactly what he looks like.
Well, if you're speaking of Satrap Sk Aar, I can tell you what he looks like. He's probably one of the most well-known people within the Hegemon.
And this is the first time we have even heard the name Satrap Sk Aar on our end of the galaxy.
Meaning no disrespect, I have only your word for that.
We also have corpses and weaponry from the Hegemon on our ships.
We might.
Would you like to see them?
Don't we have some surviving prisoners?
Well, we'd also have footage.
Yes, and you do have surviving prisoners, yeah. The Hawks would have taken them into custody. A rogue element of the military trying to stir up trouble. Possibly even just mercenaries. They should really be handed back over for punishment. And the philosopher interrupts this point and goes, well, that, Ambassador, is a conversation for another time. Were you about to say something, Boot?
I was going to attempt to table that because this is not a land where we have that form of jurisdiction. That would be handled by the people whom you already have diplomatic relations with, not us.
Well said. And he kind of gives you an up and down, looking you over. It's quite an eclectic group you have here. Though that describes this world in its entirety. You're shown to your seats.
A unified collective of sorts.
So y'all are essentially sitting across the table from this ambassador and his people. The philosopher, he quizzes you about your individual home worlds. What do you tell him about Earth?
It's a planet not yet fully immersed in the intergalactic web. It is a planet only just now beginning the, I'd say, second stage in extraplanetary travel.
Yes, the little dossier he was given on your group, just bare bones information. Did mention that you were from a less advanced world, but less technologically advanced world. That you had been taken off quite some time back. That your world had advanced since then, but.
And what time I've spent outside, as far as morals and ethics goes, we're about on par with many other civilizations already in space.
Yes, technological advancement does not always affect a society's moral foundation.
I suppose it would not be called a foundation if it did.
And he has Silver Shooting Star. Where he's from.
Small planet called Baldwin. I'm told we used to be pretty beautiful, but a few centuries back, our aristocratic class sold it off piecemeal to other stellar powers. Now it's not exactly the most pleasant place to live.
He hates to hear that.
Yeah.
He has in his time seen many worlds suffer such fates. It's one reason he founded the Hawks, to try to prevent that as much as possible. With limited success, because he has no wish to be he has no wish to become a tyrant. So individual civilizations are left to police their own territories, but if they start trying to push in on someone else or an undeveloped species, that's when he has the Hawks step in to try to protect it. He asked about your emblem.
Oh, this is a part of a crew I used to be with, the Broken Moons. We were pirates. I'm the only one left now.
Do you celebrate your past piracy?
We did lots of terrible things. I stole a lot of time, a lot of people. Oh, no, I don't. Just trying to remember the past.
He seems to respect that answer, all right. Not necessarily the piracy part, but Bloodthorn, he asked you about your homeworld.
Oh, I'm not particularly attached to my homeworld. I've done a lot of traveling.
I see. More a citizen of the stars than...
Yes, I'm a girl of the galaxy. I'll just sort of, bat my eyelashes.
Then he turns his attention to Ebe. I have in my day seen many of your people. I'm not certain I've ever seen one that would comfortably fit within my dining hall, though.
Ebe has been coalesced.
By an outside force?
Yes.
I see. I knew your species could not, well, your peoples, could not usually compress themselves, well, trying to think how to word this. With a mass as small as yours, would not be able to keep themselves coalesced.
That is what the containment suit is for.
I see, I see. It is an interesting bit of technology.
Ebe's our little bundle of Stardust joy.
Well, of course, he would be Ebe would be a child by the standards of Ebe's people. Well, let's see. He asked the Count about his. Count tells him he's from a planet called Goldor. You know, he speaks of having been involved with the hunting lodge, the hunters, you know, the same as Mukboot, but having parted ways with the organization over some differences. You know, goes into the fact, you know, he goes into his noble background to some degree. The philosopher, like he did with all the rest, he just sort of nods politely, makes a comment here and there. When he starts talking about his noble background, you see the ambassador from the Hegemon kind of nodding his head. And truthfully, while they are clearly not the same species, the Count's people and the Hegemon's people, superficially, they have some resemblance to each other. They both have the pointed ear thing going on. Now, the Count has facial hair, and you haven't seen facial hair on any of the Hegemon yet. But they've got the pointed ears, where the Hegemon guys tend to be kind of bluish or greenish or some mix. You know, the Count's people are a little more on the purple side. And some of the Count's other retinue, you know, are given a chance to speak, though very briefly because they are, you know, of lower station. And but you know enough about the Count's people know that's why they keep theirs short. What sort of things would any of you want to ask the philosopher?
I'm not sure how good of an idea it is to be blunt with a representative hegemon. And just straight out asking, how did you guys repel the hegemon in the first place? So,
well, keep in mind, this is more of a meet and greet at this point. You will have an official meeting with him probably next session.
Okay.
And that will be, you know, you and him and probably some Starhawks. Or I mean, some hawks.
I will have to, at some point in the conversation, I will have to work in that our galaxy is vehemently interested in defending their sovereignty.
Oh, that's certainly understandable. And of course, he knows that's what the entire gist of this visitation is supposed to be about. And he goes, anyways, we will certainly discuss such things on the morrow.
Philosopher, you've seen a myriad of beings in your time, I'm sure.
Certainly.
I'll pull up some footage from the because this would have been something to think about previously. That little time person that keeps meeting with Eve.
You pull that up?
Yeah, if the philosopher has met this person before. Because they seem to travel with impunity and know things about a station they should not have ever been on. So it seems someone named the Philosopher might have had a run-in with someone like this before.
Alright, so you pull that picture up. Shoot, I know I had that picture somewhere. Oh well, I was going to throw the picture up for everybody to see again, but I don't know where I ended up putting it. So yes, you pull up footage of Zeta 9. I believe that was, yeah, that's the right name. And the philosopher looks at it. Oh yes, I've encountered the Cyclops before.
Cyclops.
Yes.
Cyclopean time traveler.
That is...
Bit on the nose.
So... Yeah, I'm going to have to pause for a moment. My translator said that in a way that would be described as single-eyed time being.
Ancient peoples do not always name things creatively. The names will sometimes sound creative 5,000 years later, but only because of the way languages have moved on.
But all right, I'm okay.
Like
they are
a real world example I would throw out there would be like Thor's hammer Mjolnir. If I remember right, that name just means crusher. But yes, he tells you he's familiar with
It sounds cool to us because we don't speak that language.
Yes, growing up, I always tried to say the J like it was a J.
Yeah, me too.
I think it was... might have been the Fantastic Four cartoon in the 90s. That you had Thor guest star and pronounce the name correctly. Because in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friend, they just called it Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
They didn't even try. Nope, we saw the Super Friends try to pronounce Mixel Spitzlick and mess it up. We're just going to go easy over here. But anyway, he tells you yes.
I still say it Mixelplex. Because that's the way I heard it as a child. And when I read it into comic books, I'm like, that's wrong!
I'm going with the Gilbert Gottfried pronunciation because he sat there and gave you a pronunciation guide basically on how to do the individual syllables.
He is going to be missed.
Yes, God rest his soul.
For sure, they'll never make another Sharknado movie because you have to have a cameo of Gilbert Godfrey, with the little squinty eyes going, "It's a Sharknado!"
Anyway. But yes, he recognizes, Cyclops. He does not recognize the individual you're showing him, but yes, the species. He's not sure that he would describe them as time travelers exactly. I mean, certainly they travel in time, so it's not wrong, but they have an interesting relationship with time. We exist in time. Think of them as existing on the surface of time. Their own beliefs are that they were created to defend the time stream. He has not in his studies found any evidence to back this up, but he's also found nothing that would contradict it. For all his long life and powers, he is still a creature that dwells within time, so... but he's very curious. What exactly would have one becoming involved in your business?
That's the bit of the curiosity piece for me, is she spoke to no one in charge of anything in the station that I know of.
She spoke to you?
To Ebe. They believe that we will either... Oh, excuse me. Okay, let's try this. They believe that we will either cause something or prevent something that they wish to happen or not happen.
The philosopher is the first person you've explained that to that does not look confused when you say it. He sort of nods. So a very complicated situation is coming, and they are uncertain whether their meddling would make you cause the incident or whether them meddling with you would help prevent it.
That's right. Yeah, basically. Ebe assents to that explanation.
I hesitate to tell you to trust them implicitly. I mean, generally speaking, the health of the time stream is important to everyone. And you can trust that whatever they're doing, their actions would be to the benefit of the time stream. That does not necessarily mean it would be to your benefit as the individual.
Or even as the galaxy.
Yes, one galaxy out of the untold billions that exist within creation.
If there is time, Ebe would like to raise the question of reincarnation. If something is allowed to come right out of the blue like that.
Yes, some species engage in reincarnation.
Yeah, I guess Ebe would ask if what the philosopher believes about the concept of residual guilt carrying between lifetimes, if that's a thing or not.
Some reincarnation systems punish you for past misdeeds. Usually such things are presided over by a god or variety of gods. So the specific rules can alter massively. Some species, their souls would be more easily thought of as an energy being that are then just simply plugged into new bodies. Usually without all the memories of the previous, without the memories of the previous incarnation, but with sort of its instincts. Now, he tells you, of course, your own people's life cycle is fascinating. As you generally reincarnate into a completely different form, multiples of a completely different form, and then each of them at their end of their lifespan reincarnate back into their base form.
How does he mean by base form?
Well, either form I get, he guesses could be. But he said to use you for an example. Prior to being a living nebula, you would have been a living star. Prior to being that star, your previous incarnation, and several other stars, living stars, would have been a nebula. When a living nebula dies, it expands out, and then individual sections of itself collapse into stars. Usually living stars, sometimes not living stars. And then each of those stars go off as their completely separate individual, and at the end of their lifespan, explode out, creating another living nebula. They explode with quite a bit more force than non-living stars. He's been unable to trace the exact origin of your people, or where this cycle began. While he is older than some individuals of your race goes back way farther than he does.
So, was he saying that collapsing stars will coalesce into a single living nebula, and then
one living nebula will die and create multiple offspring.
Okay.
But then each of those offspring will become a separate nebula in itself.
A single nebula, gotcha.
But then that nebula will explode into multiple. So that's how the species can refresh itself. And that's if they meet their natural end. Other things can kill even a living nebula. Drop one too close to a massive black hole, that sort of thing. Misadventure happens like with any species.
Right.
He's not certain how long you would last outside your containment suit. Like I said, he's never encountered a living nebula with so little mass. His understanding was that they would dissipate.
Sure.
So perhaps it's not a containment suit. Perhaps it's an incubator. He would love to examine it at some point.
He would assent to that, actually.
Perhaps he could give you an idea of what sort of technology created it. As dinner goes on, the ambassador from the Hegemon takes some time to sort of, preach the gospel of Arcjin to you. On how much better it would be for your individual peoples to willingly submit. He knows the war's been unpleasant. He knows it's hard to understand what the necessity of it is. And some of that y'all got into talking to the Manus guy, blanking on his name, but, that y'all took prisoner.
Jarjo. No, that wasn't Jarjo. But yeah, I remember who you're talking about.
Yes, it's unpleasant, but that's an attempt to get it over with as quickly as possible. And then untold future generations will live in, prosperity and peace. His delivery is kind of slick, like he's a slick politician. You do get the impression that he is believing at least most of what he's saying. And throughout the night, there's a lot of lighter conversation too.
Well, also I'd like to at the end of his declaration kind of comment that the kind of question at the end of the day for that is, do you want to be the single most powerful puppet in existence, or do you want to be powerless but free? And most people would take the powerless but free over being the most powerful puppet.
Many would think that before they had experienced both conditions. In their home galaxy, well, they have an entire galaxy working under this system, and the system works.
For now.
It's worked for thousands of years.
Any system works in which all beings under it follow it. Any system,
Interestingly enough,
no matter how insane a system may sound from the outside, if every single being inside believes and follows through 100%, it does tend to work out.
Yes, exactly.
But it is interesting that submitting wasn't chosen here by the Philosopher's people.
Some of his people, and while he is certainly a being deserving of respect, some of his people look at him perhaps a little more godlike than they should. And the Philosopher does not seem to be the least bit disturbed with this comment.
He's probably heard it a couple times.
He even nods along. There are some that do, yes. And I assure you, not a god. But I view things more along the line of you, Hunter Supreme. I believe each culture should be allowed to decide for themselves. I have suspicions about the Hegemon that I won't bring up here because they are just speculation on my part. And certainly the Hegemon does not hesitate to use violence when the briefest of negotiation does not work. The ambassador looks super happy about that last comment, but you know, he lets it slide because you know. But if there's nothing specific any of you want to ask at this dinner, we will wrap it up here because it's right at 4. And I know Taylor, you've got something going on at 4:30.
Was the name of that ship? No, the star that powered the ship that we freed.
Oh,
the other living nebula.
Yes.
Where is my notepad for this game? Let's see, that is the Star Wars notepad.
Seed.
Z, that's right.
Yes, you're right.
And what was their name for the ship that he?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that he ever gave it a name specifically. But I know he was keeping it in case those that built it came back.
Right. You know, I'll just mention that, you know, we've already met some interesting people from this area of the galaxy. You know, Zeeb and his mighty warship. You know, we've become fast friends. Make sure the ambassador hears that.
He doesn't particularly react. Now the Philosopher looks at you. Z, that sounds like a living nebula's name. I wasn't aware they had ships.
He was, if I'm not mistaken, requested to protect that ship, correct?
Yes, that was
Yes. And was less than willingly put to task by the Hegemony.
Now the ambassador looks disturbed, like he realizes what ship you're talking about, and that you talked about freeing it. It's only for a few seconds, and then you know his professional diplomat's mask kind of drops back over.
I'll smile at the ambassador.
He takes a big drink out of his wine glass. But yeah, if you describe the ship to the philosopher, he knows. He gets the tech of it. They have artifacts like that scattered around their galaxy too. All the galaxies in the local cluster probably do. Certainly all the ones the philosopher's ever been through. And with that, we will wrap it up for sure. Next session, you will deal with the kind of official talking to this guy to see if you can get any help out of him. And some more actiony, adventure stuff. This was session 8, so we've got 2 more to go in the Blood and Stars portion of our anthology season. I hope y'all had fun. I had fun running it.
Oh yeah.
We had somebody in the chat. We had a new follow. That's great. We had some other people lurking. I saw. Thank y'all for coming by. Hope y'all had a good time. Hope anybody that listens to or watches this later enjoyed it. And we should be back in 2 weeks. I can't think of there being any holiday or anything that would get in the way. That'll be the 12th of next month.
Yeah.
I hope we get to rattle the ambassador a little bit more.
You will have a chance to run into him again, rest assured. So until then, again, I have been Jason, your GM for the day. And with me has been Zach, playing Silver Shooting Star.
Thank you all for joining us.
Mike, playing Eve, the Living Nebula.
Take care, everyone.
Curtis, playing Bloodthorn.
Laters.
And Taylor, playing Muckboot.
See you.
And we will see y'all next time.